I'm excited to be a part of the Elite Eight. We're looking forward to the challenge of playing a really good UConn team. And I hope there are a lot of people in the stands to create an atmosphere like they did on Saturday morning.
Thank you. If we have questions for the student athletes, over here on the left.
Joe Cook, WLTX, Columbia, South Carolina. Asia, I just want to start with you. I read your piece in the Players Tribune that was released yesterday on your battle with dyslexia. Why do you feel it was the right time to release that? And I guess how important do you feel that piece is now?
I just kind of felt like it was the right time to release it because just the period of my life, this is where my collegiate career slowly comes to an end. And I just felt deep down in my heart that it was okay for the world to know that what I was battling with. And what was the second part of your question? I'm so sorry.
How important do you feel that piece is now for others to know and see that you?
Oh man, it's lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders for people to understand, and I think it's a great feeling because it now shows people that I am still human. That I think people kind of tend to get caught up in the basketball Asia and not understand that there's a whole nother side that they've never really seen or met before. So I think it's a great feeling for people to now understand that it's real. It's real, such as mental illness, such as just a learning disability. It's real out here. And student athletes, some people don't have a clue what we go through. So to show that side of me and to have people kind of see a different look and understand that there's always a different side to a student athlete, I think it's something good. And I see the tweets of people saying they go through it as well. So it's also good to know that you're not alone in it.
Over here to the right.
Yeah, Mike Gillespie at ABC Columbia. This question's for Ty Harris and Asia Wilson. You know, it seems like even though you guys are the defending national champions, you know, all eyes are on UConn and they're the favorites. Does that feel a little disrespectful to you?
You going that, Ty?
You got that.
I don't feel like it's disrespectful. I mean, I feel like we've been the underdogs, the target on our back this whole season, and my whole 4 years here, honestly. So it's really not a different feeling from any other game. We're just blessed to be here playing in the Elite Eight, and we're just going to stay within us. I think it's more about us than anything, and we make it about us. So it really doesn't matter what's really going on out in the outside world. It's just really what's going on in our circle.
Ty, anything to add?
Kind of what Aisha said. I like being the underdog because I like proving people wrong. So like we just gotta stay within us and just stay focused and locked in.
Thank you. Up here, question to the right.
David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Asia, Ty, and Danye. There weren't a lot of it last year, but there were some comments from around the nation that said, well, because you didn't beat UConn last year, maybe the title didn't mean as much. When y'all heard that, what was your reaction to it?
I mean, I don't know about the other two, but I just laughed. You can't take my banner away from me. You can't take my ring away from me. You can't take the journey that we took to get there. So I really didn't pay it any mind.
Oh, sorry.
He called two in the names.
I laughed as well. I mean, everybody took the same path. Everybody had to fight through each game one by one, and we happened just to make it to the last game, and we still have the banner and ring to prove it. So, that's it.
Over here on the left.
Matt Dowell, Watch Fox out of Columbia. Asia, you pretty much accomplished everything, but the one thing you haven't done is beat UConn. Is that a stat that you really look at? And B, how personal is tomorrow's game and how much do you want to accomplish that?
I don't really look at it. I don't think it's very personal. This is just another game. This is another game that I would like to win. It's nothing much more to it. I don't really look at the opponent in a different way. Just staying within my system. I'm lucky to be playing along with the side of these great girls and just enjoying my collegiate career.
Question here to the right.
Holly Rowe, ESPN. This is for Ty and Bianca. 26 turnovers in your game yesterday. That won't go well against UConn. So what is the plan to change that?
Mm-hmm. We have to just be conscious of where we're passing the ball and know where we're going to pass it before anything happens, and just be aware and not be lackadaisical while we're doing it. But if we do turn it over, we have to defend our turnovers and try to make it dead ball turnovers and not live ball.
For me, just making sure passes, knowing where I'm going to go with the ball before I pick it up, and looking out through the whole court before I make a decision on where to put the ball.
Question on the left.
Chris Hanna, Daily Campus. Asia, this is for you. How are you looking forward to your rematch with Gabby Williams in particular? She was guarding you most of the game last time out.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a matchup, of course, but honestly, it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, can't wait. But at the same time, I'm not going to overlook Gabby. She's a great player. She's a great defender as well. She's very athletic. So I'm just going to take it in, do what I can, and trust my teammates.
Right here to the right.
TV. This is for Asia and Alexis. UConn beat you by 25 back in February. How has this team improved so that won't happen again on Monday night?
Asia, you want to start?
Oh, me? Oh, how have we improved? I think we have a lot more contribution from everyone. I think a lot of people's confidence is really increased, and just the growth of this team has gotten a lot better since February. I think the SEC tournament really kind of showed that, and that's good, and we need that going in, especially being in this tournament, not necessarily playing against UConn, but just in this tournament as a whole. So I think we just grew as just our confidence. I think our young ones really have grown up in different ways mentally, and that's what you need. So I think the biggest thing is just our growth. Our growth is something that we've really grown.
I agree with Asia, but also I feel like last game we didn't utilize our post presence, and I feel like coming off of a game like yesterday against Buffalo, I feel like we have good confidence now going forward, and I feel like we can use that. That can be another key in order to get the win.
Go here to the left.
Matt Dowell, Watch Hawks. My question's for Danye. When you guys were going into the SEC final against Mississippi State, everyone was kind of saying, oh, they're undefeated. Mississippi State's going to win this. And your strategy, you guys were kind of preaching that you wanted to keep the score close, kind of make them uncomfortable, put them in pressure situations. How much is the strategy kind of similar in tomorrow night's game to kind of make UConn put the pressure on them and make them uncomfortable?
I think we just play within our system. It's not really like, just, make them uncomfortable as like Mississippi State, because there's two different teams. So obviously, Gabby Williams not that as tall as Tiara McCowan or, but she's more athletic. So like, we just have to be smarter and like, just, move Asia, maybe make her, come to the high post more, or just keep her in the paint, because obviously she has the height advantage. So we just, just be smarter.
Question here to the right.
David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Bianca, when you came in, sometimes freshmen kind of got to wait their turn, but you were put right into the game and played a lot this year. Did you think that you would play as much as you have this year, and how do you think you've done?
I came in with the mindset that I wanted to be able to play and put myself in a position to be able to play this year. We had some injuries that put me in the spotlight, having to come in starting as a freshman, but I think I did pretty well this season. I felt like I held my own and did what my team needed me to do.
Question here to the left.
Bianca, I had a question for you also. Vicki Fulkerson from the New London Day in Connecticut. What's it like to grow up with your parents both coaching, and do they give you a lot of advice, or do they kind of let you be, or how is that relationship?
In my household, it was basketball all the time. Like, both of my parents coach and I play basketball, so was pretty much a topic of conversation all the time. And now, like, my mom used to coach me, like, during my high school games. She'd coach me all the time, but now that I'm in college, she kind of steps back sometimes, but the night before the game, she'll call me and be like, well, I want to talk to you about a couple things that I think you need to work on. So it's good. They're in my corner. They here for me when I'm feeling down or when I need to be picked up, and they're always here to support me, so it's good.
Over here to the right.
This question's for Asia and Alexis. 12 national championships between these two programs. Does it feel kind of like a national championship atmosphere? Does it feel like the premier women's college basketball matchup to you guys?
Go ahead, Lex.
No, you got it, my man.
All right. I mean, yeah, you have the defending champs versus the ones that have been kind of keeping the trophy in their case for a while. So it definitely does feel like one of those games, and I think Albany has a great atmosphere. It's a lot of blue up here, but definitely it's women's basketball. Just to see just a packed house like this, I think it's really kind of showed how the growth of the game has changed, and that's something that we want. And if UConn and South Carolina big game matchup is what brings people together to watch the game, then hey, we're gonna do our best and stay within our system and play it.
And Alexis?
I pretty much agree with Asia.
Question to the left.
Matt Dowell, Watch Fox. My question's for Ty. Kind of going off what we're seeing right now. You guys are known for having a lot of fun off the court. You guys do all the dance and you joke around a lot. But when does the fun kind of stop, and when do the South Carolina game faces kind of come on during tournament time?
This is for me, right? Okay. The fun probably stops once we. It doesn't really stop, but we hide it a little bit. But Coach J always tells us just to have fun and just enjoy the game, because you don't know when it's gonna be your last, and any time can be just unpredictable. And like we try to lower it down once you step into the court, but as you can see, like right before we run out, we also dance, so it doesn't really stop. Asia Wilson. It's unpredictable. We can't really catch her beat, but
Yeah, it's all good. Oh, sorry.
it is off. They cut it off.
One more question if we have it. Seeing none, we thank you, ladies, for being with us and
Thank you.
wish you luck tomorrow. As a reminder, the South Carolina locker room is open. We have questions for Coach Staley. We'll start. Oh, go ahead, Doug. Right here in the front.
And David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Dawn, Alexis mentioned it a little bit about the last UConn game where she didn't feel the post game really got going outside of Asia. After coming off such a big game where the post did well against Buffalo, how do you plan to exploit that momentum going against UConn?
Well, our plan is always to go inside first and continue to go inside first. We make that an emphasis to get the ball in the paint, and that won't stop. You know, now that we're playing who we're playing, Alexis will get the ball. Alexis got to finish. Asia will get the ball. Asia's got to finish. Kiki will get the ball. Kiki's got to finish. So we're going to continue to pound it in. They have been extremely productive for us all year long. And you go where the numbers say to go, and it points to going inside.
Thank you. Also to the right.
Coach Tim Wilkin from the Albany Times Union. It's a simple question. I don't know if it's a simple answer, but how do you beat UConn?
You got to play the game. Got to play the game. You know, I serve an amazing God. And I got to tell you this story because I was walking out after scouting UConn yesterday. And I guess a UConn fan, he started yelling at me like, you know, you're next on Monday. And he's like, you know, giving me the thumbs up. And I'm actually thinking it was a Gamecock fan. So I turn around and almost give him the thumbs up like, so I just, you know, I don't know why this came to me, but this came to me. I said, on Monday night, you're going to believe that there's a God. And that's what we're going to go with. That's what we're going to go with.
Up here in the left.
Don, Lori Riley from the Hartford Courant. Just curious how concerned you are with the turnovers yesterday. And is your team, you know, maybe not as sharp as it was during the conference tournament? Does that concern you going into such a big game?
Well, we actually are very consistent with, you know, conference tournament in that we turn the ball over a great deal. I think, yeah, you got to raise your eyebrows, you know, because, you know, it's not that, you know, they're just really, you know, turnovers that we could control. I mean, it's not like we were being pressured. It wasn't like, you know, like all game long. I mean, they were sitting back in a sagging matchup zone. And we just play too fast. I think we just need to slow down, keep our composure, and find the, you know, find the hands that the ball should go in. I think sometimes we get overzealous and we try to force things. We try to go a little bit quicker than, you know, we want to go because we see, you know, where there are lanes to exploit. So hopefully we'll slow down a little bit and take better care of the ball. Because if we don't, you know, we'll get ran out of the gym.
Question here, Mel.
Yeah, Dawn, Mel Greenberg, Philadelphia Inquirer. Through the years, on your side of the fence coming up as a player, then your long friendship with Tanya, more people than most, you've been able to see Gino through a prism. And then, of course, you worked with him in the Olympics, so then you got to deal up close and personal. Can you just kind of talk about your viewpoints over the years and what you saw and, that?
You hear stories about Gino. Obviously I worked with him last summer. I also had a chance to work with him in the 2000 Olympic Games. And Tanya's worked for him, I think, for 16 years. So you hear about, all these stories about, how he has a great basketball mind, and, he definitely does. He has a, incredible mind for the game. I think it's great opportunities to learn from him. But at the same time, that's his style. You have to take, some of the good that you can implement with your team, but that's his style. That's not really my style, but it works for him, and I think he's done a great job with, just owning college women's basketball, and hopefully we can, cut us a slice Monday night.
Over here on the left.
Matt Dowell, Watch Fox. Don, in Asia's piece that she released yesterday, she talked about how you had her read scripture in front of the team, I believe. I just want to know, why did you feel like that was good for her to do that in front of her peers and her colleagues? And also, what was it like for you to read that piece?
Yeah, I think with anything, I like to take my challenges head on, and I just try to lend that type of mentality to our players. I think Asia, in dealing with dyslexia, you always think that you're less than. You always think you're a little bit different than everybody else because you don't pick up on things as quickly, and your processes are a little bit different. And I wanted her to just face her one of her challenges head on, and doing so in reading our scripture for each and every game. And she got to the point where she made mistakes at times, and Asia will tell you she laughs through a lot of mistakes that she makes when it comes to dyslexia, and we laugh with her, but we also are there to encourage her to continue, because she is a beacon of hope for someone else, a beacon of hope not just as a talented, skilled basketball player, but also as someone that deals with dyslexia every day.
Question on the left.
Yeah, Lori Riley again from The Current. Just wondering if you could talk a little bit about Crystal Dangerfield's development as a point guard for UConn, how she wasn't playing a lot last year, coming to, basically running the show this year as a former point guard. What do you see that you like from her?
What I see that I like is, she is under Gino's spell. And when you give yourself to your coach, you're going to look a lot better than what you think it should look like. So I think she is someone that is extremely talented, probably more talented than what you're seeing. But she's learning another side of how to play the game, so she can have longevity in our sport once she becomes a professional basketball player.
Over here to the left, John.
John Kikis with the Associated Press. Did you see Felicia's comments yesterday about how difficult it is for African-American coaches to get a second chance, and your thoughts on that?
I did see her comments, and, she nailed it. I think anytime that you're in this profession as an African-American woman, man, you have to be successful out the gate. If you're not successful, you have to go back and, fortunately for me, I didn't go through the ranks of being a grad assistant and an assistant coach and up through there. I was given an opportunity because somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. But for other coaches who have, assisted for so many years and got the opportunity, like, Jolette Law, who's on our staff. I mean, she was an assistant for, 12 to 15 years, and then she got an opportunity at Illinois. And it takes a while to get a program off the ground, especially a doormat program. And people want you to be great, from the start. and it takes a very long time. It takes patience. It takes, an AD that has that patience. When I got the job at South Carolina, the AD was Eric Hyman, and he was like, it's going to take you at least 3 years, And I didn't believe him because I just feel like, if you work hard and you do things the right way, things are going to happen for you quickly. And he was very right because he knew what was there. And I think when you take over a program, you got to know what's there. You as black coaches, you got to know what you're going into, and you can't think you're, invincible to, having bad seasons. It has to be the right fit, and you have to have people in there who believe in you and have the patience enough to, give you an opportunity. And if you fail, because most coaches have failed. If you looked at, all the coaches, both black, white, and any other, ethnic group, they failed at some point. And they probably have gotten opportunities. Those things don't happen a lot for African American coaches. But, Felicia, she is probably the poster child for that. And I'm glad that she was given an opportunity to right the wrong, because there's nothing worse than, losing a challenge and not being able to regroup and win that challenge. So, I hope that, my success is a beacon of hope for other black coaches, and also a beacon of hope to other ADs to see that, if given an opportunity, you can win a national championship like we did.
Thank you. Question here.
Dawn, you mentioned not only this year when you played UConn, but the past years you played UConn, how crucial it is to keep them from going on a run, not score 8 or 10 points in a row. Have you mentioned that again to the team as they prepare for this one?
Yeah, I mean, UConn makes you pay a lot of different ways. If you turn the ball over, they're going to make you pay. If you miss a shot and it comes off the rim, they're going to rebound and push it and make you pay. If, you make a basket and you slow to get back, they'll make you pay. So it's a lot of different ways in which they make you pay. I think our players are very aware of the style of play and what UConn does best. I think it also helps that we've played them, over the past few years. And you can't just play them one game, and think you're going to have success. You have to have the experience of playing them in a lot of different ways, at home, away at their place. And now we're playing on a neutral site, something that we haven't done. So hopefully, this is the trick.
Question to the left.
Chris Hanna, Daily Campus. Based on what you've seen from UConn in your earlier matchup this season and in scouting throughout the season, what challenges does UConn present to you?
They're just a team that's on the mission. I think they're probably more hungry than they've ever been because they didn't win a national championship last year. But also that also puts them in a place in which, is unfamiliar to them because they're used to, being the defending national champions. And, I think someone asked, one of our other players a question about, doing what we did to Mississippi State, which is to keep it close and put them in unfamiliar situations that they haven't been in a lot this season. You have to put them in those situations. You have to keep the game close. And hopefully, something else kicks in to where they're not as sharp as they normally are.
Thank you. Question to the right.
Coach, it seemed like yesterday you were running with some combination of 3 forwards on the floor a lot, and Lily was talking about being more comfortable as a ball handler and a guard and being on the perimeter like that. So I guess just kind of how much, especially given how size is one of the areas where you have an advantage over UConn, how much are we going to see that tomorrow?
Well, we've been playing the big lineup for ever since the SEC tournament. I think Lily is getting more and more accustomed to playing on the perimeter, and I mean, she gives us speed. She gives us, another passer, another ball handler, and she's fearless, as fearless can be. So we will definitely play that lineup at some point, and utilize her quickness and her ability to take people off the dribble.
One more question if we have it. Seeing none, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you tomorrow.